We almost skipped going to Ronda, Spain when we were in Malaga, and that would have been really sad in hindsight. But we didn't know, is it just another overhyped tourist trap or really worth it? In this video, we'll tell you everything we wish someone would have told us about Ronda when planning our trip. The best way to get there, where to park, when to go, and a full itinerary. Stick around till the end, especially if you're torn on whether to squeeze in Ronda into your trip, and if you want to know what I thought was so crazy about Ronda. To introduce ourselves, we're the Slomad travelers. We're Canadians with a nomadic spirit who seek a local experience and off-the-beaten-path adventures. Welcome to our channel. So to get there, we took the scenic route from Malaga, driving along the Mediterranean coast, briefly stopping in Marbella, a popular expat town, then heading north into the mountains towards Ronda. It took about an hour and a half, but the views alone made the whole trip worth it, and we had not even reached our destination. Ronda is a small town in Andalusia, southern Spain near Malaga, where we were staying for only a few days, mainly for hiking. Feel free to check out my hiking videos if you're interested in that. We flip-flopped many times on whether to go to Ronda, but decided to make a day trip out of it. We were not convinced, and yet it ended up being one of the most lovely places we visited in Spain. Ronda is one of Spain's oldest towns, and you can feel it in your bones while you wander. And for good reason, as people have been living there for thousands of years. But it wasn't until the Moors arrived hundreds of years ago that it became the fortified cliffside town that you see today. Its dramatic views make it truly just as beautiful as all the advertisements say it is. The not-so-new Puente Nuevo bridge, which means new bridge in Spanish ironically, built 230 years ago after it took 40 years to make, still connects the old and new parts of town. As you walk around, you will find more and more spots even better than the last to keep on taking in the stunning views. So don't worry about not taking enough pictures in each spot. There are three things I found kind of crazy about Ronda. First, really baffling to me was how the town was built on the edge of a cliff overlooking a canyon and split in two parts by a very deep gorge. Today, this would be considered a very reckless example of urban planning, no matter how beautiful or how many tourists it attracts. However, of course, it was all about strategically using the cliffs as a natural fortress, protecting the town and its people from invaders. The second absurd thing is that the town looks picture perfect like something out of a Disney movie. But we found out that the bridge that everyone is admiring used to be a prison during the Spanish Civil War. It took 42 years to build, and a whopping 50 or so people sacrificed their lives to build it. And third, Ronda is also known as the birthplace of bullfighting in Spain. Even though Ronda is quite a tiny town, the people more than 200 years ago thought they needed one of the most massive and elaborate bullfighting rings in the country. The bull ring is still a major cultural attraction, open to tourists, which we chose to see from outside. Just a tip, if you want to see Ronda's historic sites, there's a tourist combo pass to see the museums, palace, and baths that you can buy at the bull ring. Especially if you have an extra day, this would come in really handy. But besides the history, Ronda was a really peaceful and beautiful place to wander around. It felt very authentic and quaint, with the locals just out and about doing their thing in the plazas and narrow cobblestone streets. We enjoyed people watching while we sipped our hot chocolate at a cafe after a long day of walking. In terms of parking, when we reached Ronda, we parked at a free parking lot called Parking Ronda, barely 10 minutes walk to the historic center. But here's the thing, by late morning, we got the very last spot, so go as early as possible. From that parking lot, everything was a very easy walk from there. Also, we got to see the area where more locals are living and some beautiful street art. This was our first time driving in Europe. We rented from a highly rated company amongst the many budget options available and thankfully had no issues, despite some of the very tight parking spots and narrow roads. To our pleasant surprise, car rentals are so much more affordable than in Canada or the US, so we highly recommend them for driving outside of the city. The car rental company did, however, take a hefty deposit just in case. If you're not into driving yourself, there are bus and train options available from the center of Malaga. To get back home to Malaga, we took a more direct inland route, which was quite amazing since we saw so many different looking landscapes all in one short drive. Rolling hills, the desert, flatlands, treed areas. So that was really quite wonderful. So we are so glad that we went to Ronda in the end, and it was really worth the trip, not just for the town, but also the journey. The photos we saw beforehand did not do it justice. It had an unusual fairy tale-like quality that made our trip special. If you have the chance to visit, I would highly recommend it. If you have been to Ronda or it's on your list, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you enjoyed coming on our journey, please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you for the next one. For tips on funding your next trip, whether you're slow traveling or just going on vacation, check out the link to our website in the comments below.